Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to show you how to go from this to all of this in a few basic steps. So today we are working with this Asics top from the charity shop. So it's a men's large running top. Yes, it is. So we're gonna find the crop top that is nice and the length that you want. So now that you've cut your top, go ahead, grab your tape measure and measure across the width of your top. With the width, divide it by 2 and then cut up the center of the top. So now that I have done that, I'm going to go ahead and cut up the middle of the top. So it's a sleeveless top, so I'm just going to cut out the sleeves and cut around the neckline. And just do the same for the other side as well. So with this part, try your hardest not to cut into the actual body of the top because we don't want that. We just want the sleeves to be removed and that's pretty much it. Okay, so now that I've cut off the sleeves, I've removed them, they've gone, I've put them to the side. So go ahead and draw in your panels so off at least 4 centimeters of the front of the top. So at this point, I'm just cutting out panels with the idea of pinning them back together in order to create the lettuce hem you want to achieve for this. Now that I've cut out all my panels, I am going to go ahead and pin them back together. So making sure the wrong sides are together. So for the last part now, I'm just pinning in the part of the panel which is going to be for the opening of the top. So always remember when you're doing this, just once you finish pinning it, go ahead and try it on and just make sure that it fits you the way you want it to fit you. because I noticed that when I was doing mine, it was big at first, so I had to go back in again and remove some extra fabric. So if that's what you need to do, then go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that that is finished, go ahead and look at your panels, see if it makes sense, see if it's going to look good. So now that I can see all the panels are looking good, so I'm going to go ahead and use my overlocker. So with my overlocker, I'm going to create a lettuce hem sleeve. So this fabric's nice and stretchy, so I'm just going to add a little bit of tension on it on both sides of the fabric and just slightly pull in order to get the wavy lettuce hem look that we desire. Okay, so this is what you should have. So I'm using my orange thread because I felt like it would look good with the blue and then the orange on the inside, obviously. So just make sure you overlock all your panels. Once you have done that, have a look, make sure everything's looking good. So now I'm on to my third panel. Just making sure I'm overlocking everything and pulling at the same time in order to get the really wavy lettuce hem look that I'm actually going for. So now I'm moving on to the other side and making sure that I pull the fabric, just put some tension on it while I overlock it. At this point, I was really surprised how this top is actually turning out. It's really nice. Okay, so now that is finished, I'm moving on to the loops. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out the measurement that I want for my loop. So the length that I'm going with is 3 centimeters wide and 2 centimeters height. So what I'm going to do now is mark out 12 loops, and I want 6 on each side of my top. So once I've cut out my loops, I'm going to go ahead and overlock the edges as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put the loops in the places that I want them to be in. So between each loops, I have given about 3 centimeters distance. Okay, so I'm just going in and pinning it in place so it is secure for when it's time for me to stitch them in place. So here I'm going to lay down my loops. So I'm going to start off by placing them where I think that they look really good. So start off with laying them down on one side and then match them up on the other side. This way you can see if you have enough loops to fill out your top. If not, then go back and make some more loops. But for my top and for the length that it is, the amount of loops that I have fits in perfectly fine and I'm happy with it. Now start to secure the loops by pinning them in place all along the front of the top and then pin it in place on the other side of the top. Once you've done one side, you can go on to the other side and just literally mirror them. Okay, so now that I have finished that, I'm going to go ahead and stitch my loops in place. So go ahead and stitch your loops in your lettuce hem so that it is undetectable. So now that I finished that, I'm going to go ahead and do the string. So I'm just using the bottom of the shirt, cutting it in half, measuring it. So the measurement that I'm going to go ahead with is 147 centimeters for the length of my string. And the width of my string is going to be 2 centimeters. Cut out 2 pieces of fabric and make sure that they are 2 centimeters wide. Now that you've done that, go ahead and join them together. Go ahead and join them together, fold it in half and stitch all the way down your string. Once you have done that, grab a pin and put it at the end of your string and feed the fabric through. So now this is going to take a very long time. Halfway through this, I was thinking, wow, I am still feeding this string through. But guys, just have patience. The end result will be really nice. Okay, so I finished doing that now. So now I'm just going to lace up the front of my top. So now you can see that I'm just feeding it through the loops. So this is the finished product. So this is just an example of how you can take something that's old and then transform it into something new.